Greetings. My name is Anthony Briscoe, one of the Champ Mentors. To our Champs community, our mentors, our mentees, and to our supporters, we are in some very trying times that are not new to mankind. As a society, we've seen throughout history what oppressors have done to hold people captive and in bondage. We've also witnessed how the oppressed respond to oppression and rise up. We've seen it in Tiananmen Square, we've seen it during the Berlin Wall, and we surely have seen it in America on more than one occasion, from the Black Codes to Jim Crow and throughout the Civil Rights Movement. The George Floyds, the Tamir Rices, the Philando Castilles, the Rekia Boyds, the Sandra Blands, the Oscar Grants, and the Mike Browns, and the Eric Garners are only a microcosm of a larger number of African Americans who have lost their lives to the racist, archaic, and barbaric tactics of rogue police officers and the judicial system which protects them. We are frustrated, and there has to be an understanding of the frustrations experienced as African descendants of slaves. After all, Flint, Michigan still doesn't have clean water. Chicago still had to close 50 neighborhood schools. We've seen police officers, like the one who killed Rekia Boyd, not serve a day in prison or get convicted. We watch officers, one specifically choking Eric Garner until he could breathe no more, receive no justice. As Carol Anderson points out in her book Right Rage, we heard the graphic details of Amadou Diallo receiving 19 of 48 bullets launched at him by the New York Police Department, 4 officers, and how at the time Mayor Giuliani talked about his department displays the most restraint in the country. But surely Diallo did not feel the same way. A man walking to the store, posing no threat, and having no firearm. He was black. The world watched as Officer Jason Van Dyke here in Chicago hailed a barrage of 16 bullets into Laquan McDonald's body as if it were target practice while he was already laying on the ground from the initial shots. He received a slap on the wrist, and the officers who lied on official police records are all acquitted and more than likely will be reinstated to their positions. This is what creates frustration. This is what makes us disappointed, and for that we have a right to be angry, to demonstrate, to march, and to peacefully protest. We even get to see Archie Williams, a contestant on America's Got Talent, freed from prison after 37 years of being wrongly convicted of raping and killing a white woman. He had 3 witnesses to verify where he was at the time, and prosecutors ignored it. The jury went on to live their lives in peace. The district attorney went on to live their lives and careers in peace, and the family thought they had restitution. And it took 1 hour for DNA evidence from the Innocent Project to free him 37 years later while his life was in pieces. After all, a black man, even innocent, has to take the blame and take the fall. This is the frustration of black people, of African Americans, of African descendants of slaves that we endure every day. And it's hard to combat problems within our own communities while we still have to battle with systemic oppression, racism, discrimination, and laws of policing which reinforce the subjugation of minorities. But we have to rebuild our communities. CHAMP's acronym is the essence of rebuilding our community and the unification which we strive to have. Culturally helping and making positive success is how we seek to work and put our young male mentees on a path of success. We help them navigate community problems and racial problems that exist within our society. We have seen F students become A students. We have seen college not possible become college graduates. We've had students with behavioral problems get the resources they need and are now giving back to their communities in a positive way while they are in college. We've been able to support families, navigate tragedies and successes. CHAMPS is America's work, boots on the ground. We rebuild our communities by dealing with the socioeconomic issues that are impacting the development of our young men. CHAMPS isn't a beacon of hope. It is the hope itself. And we need you to continue supporting our efforts. While we realize that protests are necessary, and the First Amendment of the Constitution in part allows us to peacefully protest, we do not support any illegal, counterproductive, negative activity, or measures any agitators, any provocateurs, or opportunists, internal and external, who are looting and burning buildings and betraying businesses that support our community. I am taught to be angry and sin not. We teach our mentees that it's okay to have a righteous indignation, but this should never turn violent and cause one to destroy the community in which they reside. We understand that some people have crept in unaware solely to disrupt, dismantle, instigate, and further perpetuate the stereotypes placed on African American people. And we hold those accountable in our community who are on videotape, showing licenses, showing faces to the world what you represent during this highly sensitive time of agitated relations between the police departments and communities across the nation. If you want to impact change, it must not be met with violence, revelry, or disorder. This type of activity is against what we teach our champs mentees. And to our supporters, it breaks my heart to know that relationships that we have built with corporations like Nike, who have supported our efforts of champ and have contributed to our young African American men, have to witness their stores and franchises being pilfered during these uncertain times. There are protesters and there are opportunists. These opportunists are the ones who have taken away from the great work many businesses and organizations have done to support our efforts. Our relationships and support from Dr. Eric Thomas, from Jamal Cole, from Jamal King, and from the city of Chicago and Nike are strong, and we will remain resilient. We thank you for helping change the lives of our young people and for allowing them to tell a different side of what you are witnessing. Chicago will rise. Justice will rise. Champs will rise. And when America as a whole learns how to lead with equity, justice, judgment, and peace, it too shall rise. Thank you, and please be safe.